C.S. Lewis once said something that perfectly illustrates the problem with how most people learn biblical Greek and Hebrew. He said, "The great gain was that I very soon became able to understand a great deal without even mentally translating it. I was beginning to think in Greek. That is the great Rubicon to cross in learning any language. Those in whom the Greek word lives only while they are hunting for it in the lexicon, and who then substitute the English word for it, are not reading the Greek at all. They are only solving a puzzle. The very formula, nous means a ship, is wrong. Nous and ship both mean a thing. They do not mean one another. Behind nous, we want to have a picture of a dark, slender mass with a sail or oars climbing the ridges with no officious English word intruding. If you are learning Greek and Hebrew in order to be able to translate each individual word, you might as well just read a translation. Indeed, Lewis says that reading Greek in this way is actually not reading the Greek at all. It is just reading English through Greek. This is not why anyone learns the biblical languages. The great benefit to learning Greek and Hebrew is to access the original meaning of the text in a deeper way than what is available in a translation. As Lewis says, the way to accomplish this is to train yourself to think in the language itself. Only learning how to translate instead of think in the language is one of a few different traps people can fall into when learning the biblical languages, or any language really. Here are a few more mistakes to avoid. They learn about the language rather than learning the language itself. My 4-year-old son can read Hebrew. Don't believe me? Check this out. Learning a language is different than learning about a language. A big mistake I see people make is that they think learning a language involves learning the grammar. Don't get me wrong, it might still be helpful to learn about a language, and you may want to learn Greek and Hebrew grammar. However, that is not the same thing as learning Greek and Hebrew. My son knows 0 Hebrew grammar, but he clearly understands some Hebrew. If your goal is to read Greek and Hebrew, you need to focus most of your attention on using the language rather than learning about the language. Practice makes better. The third mistake is people don't focus on fluency. Are you fluent? I get asked that question a lot when I say that I know Greek and Hebrew. Fluency is sort of the holy grail of language learning. It's when you know a language so well that you don't have to consciously think about using it. Many people don't know how to practice in order to develop fluency. There are 2 key elements to getting fluent: practice easy material and go fast. Practicing easy material is essential because it allows you to internalize what you already know. When someone is fluent in a language, they can speak, read, write, or listen to it automatically and easily. This involves revisiting old material and mastering it so that you don't just know it, but it has become a part of you. Being able to easily use the language is not all we want. We also need to be able to use the language fast. When you go back to practicing easy material, you will want to have some pressure to go fast in order to develop fluency. Speeding up your reading will help you to comprehend the text better because you will be able to hold more of the text in your mind as you read through it. Fourth, they don't immerse themselves in the culture. Returning to C.S. Lewis, learning Greek and Hebrew is not just about learning the closest English equivalent to each word. It is also about learning the culture the language was set in. It is true that the Greek word nous is best translated boat, and what ancient Greek speakers would have called a nous, we today would call a boat. However, no ancient Greek speaker would have thought of the Titanic when they said the word nous, because such boats or ships did not exist. If languages connect speakers to the world in which they live, learning the world of a language is an essential part of learning the language itself. Greek and Hebrew scholars are starting to recognize this more and more, and there are various resources now that try to immerse you not only into the languages of the Bible, but also into the culture. We do this in Biblingo by including thousands of images and videos of reconstructed scenes set in biblical Israel, and we actually filmed them in the land of Israel itself. However you do this, you will want to make sure that you are connecting the original words of the Bible to the original world rather than our own world as much as possible. Fifth, and finally, they don't try to produce the language. Our goal in learning to read the Bible in the original languages is not merely to learn to read in Greek or Hebrew. It is to learn to read as efficiently as possible. In order to read, you need to read, and you need to read a lot. But practicing other language skills will also help you to reach your goal of becoming a fluent reader, and they may help to get you there faster. Research in the field of second language acquisition has shown that practicing a harder language skill, like speaking, results in faster gains in the easier language skill of listening. So, what is the takeaway from this research? The most efficient way to learn to read is to practice harder language skills, especially speaking and writing. Even though we focus on fluent reading in Biblingo, we include drills where you speak and write for this very reason. It is the most efficient way to acquire Greek and Hebrew. I hope this list of common language learning pitfalls is helpful to you on your journey to reading the Bible in its original languages. If you want to simplify and accelerate your learning, check out Biblingo. We've poured thousands of hours and the best second language acquisition scholarship into this app so that you can spend your time learning in the most efficient and effective way possible. If you spend 15 to 30 minutes a day with Biblingo, you should be fluent enough to start reading the Bible in Greek or Hebrew in just 1 year. You can learn more and try it for free for 10 days at biblingo.org.